Hey everybody, it's my favorite time of the week, and that is giving you a portfolio update for week 6, 2023. Did you guys have a great week? Are you guys staying motivated? More importantly, are you guys staying consistent with your daily cost averaging? I hope so. Hey, if you're new to the channel, thanks for tuning in. My name is Wayne. I'm 44 years old, and I retired in 2020 after a career in law enforcement. And truth be told, I thought by making $104,000 a year for my pension that I'd be living the dream, but that's not necessarily the case. It's not to say that I couldn't live off of that pension, but living and living comfortably are two different things. So I've gone back to work full time, and I intend to do some things differently this time around. First and foremost, I'm saving more money than I ever have. Second, I'm taking full advantage of tax-deferred contributions offered by my current employer. And last but not least, probably for why you're tuning in, I'm investing every penny in the stock market so I can start building generational wealth by generating multiple streams of income. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you guys subscribe and continue to follow along on this journey. So let's go ahead and kick things off by starting with the M1 portfolio. Currently, I am at just over 118,000. Now for the week, I am down 1.3%. That's a loss of $1,500. And if you guys have seen my previous videos, you know that I have a basket of stocks in these 4 slices in my M1. I've got quarterly dividends, monthly dividends, long-term hold, and my ETFs. All of those experienced slight losses for the week. Now looking at things at a total value, you guys can see here, of that 118,000, I'm down just under 0.25%. So not too bad, guys. And it's important to remember, if you're down in your current holdings, don't get discouraged. Remember, the ideal time to purchase is when the stocks are in the red, not the green. Speaking of purchases, let's go ahead and take a look at everything that I purchased for the week. As a reminder, last week I increased my weekly contributions in my M1 from $150 per week to $250 per week. So I am contributing $50 every day, Monday through Friday. And you can see here, February 6th through the 10th, everything above the $50 limit would indicate that I also received a dividend that was reinvested or at least distributed when I made those purchases. So let's go ahead and start off at looking at what I purchased on the 6th. You guys may have seen what I call the usual suspects. We've got Walmart, Esso, Visa, Texas Roadhouse, Lowe's, Johnson & Johnson, ExxonMobil, UNP, and AVGO. Tuesday's not going to be any different other than adding the dividends that I received, which we'll get to shortly. And I think McDonald's also made its way to the buy list. Looking at Wednesday, once again, we've got 9 purchases for a total of $49.97. As a reminder, if M1 is unable to invest at least $1, it'll skip that stock. Hence, you're only seeing $49.97 and not the full $50. Thursday, we've got a total investment of $50.58. Once we've got the same 10 suspects we've seen throughout the week. And then Friday, we finish things out with another 8 buys of $50. Now, one of the things that I like about M1 is it'll give me a year-to-date total funding history. If we look at the screen, in 2022, I contributed a total of $6,850. So far in 2023, I'm up to $1,000. Of course, if we do the math as to how often I am contributing on a weekly basis, we should definitely shatter that $6,800 from 2022. So hopefully you guys are staying consistent and thinking about that daily cost averaging. So let's go ahead and talk about now my Robinhood account. If you guys are tuning in for the first time, I have 2 brokerage accounts, my Robinhood and my M1. My Robinhood account is sitting at just under 400K, and I use this account primarily to trade options, both covered calls as well as cash secured puts. Now, just like we saw in the M1 portfolio, for the week, I am down just a little bit, just less than 1%. That's a total of $2,800, not too bad. So if we go ahead and switch this view from 1 week to all, you guys will see all-time total, I am down nearly 7%. That's $30,000. And yes, that is a lot of money. But if we go ahead and click on year to date, we've actually seen an incredible rally, especially in January of 2023, where my portfolio has jumped up nearly 11% for $38,000. So we're definitely on a better momentum for 2023. If we take a look here at my reoccurring investments within Robinhood, I am currently daily cost averaging $10 a day for UPS, $20 a day, Monday through Friday for Costco. It is ultimately a goal of mine to reach 100 shares for both UPS and Costco. Now, one thing that I also want to point out is I recently activated the cash sweep settings within my Robinhood brokerage. Currently, Robinhood is paying to gold members, which does cost me $5 a month. They are paying 4.15% APY, which is just fantastic if you were to compare that to traditional banks or savings or checking accounts. So take a look here. I've earned $24.18, which is due to be paid out at the end of the month. And that's on about $14,000 that I have. Again, that's uninvested in my Robinhood brokerage. It's also worth noting that you can only achieve interest on cash that is not tied up with any options cash secured puts. Moving right along to dividends received for the week of February 6th. You can see in my M1, I earned $44.84 for JEPI, $44.51 for JEPQ, and I earned 52 cents for Lowe's. I am excited about these two dividends from JEPQ and JEPE. These are recent transfers in which I transferred a large amount of holdings from Robinhood to M1. So this is the first time that I've received these monthly dividends in the M1 account. And so you can imagine these dividends plus my weekly contributions of $250, that's going to really allow me to buy these quality stocks at a faster pace. As for dividends in Robinhood, for the week of the 6th, I only received one dividend, and that was from Lowe's for $1.16. Yes, I do own a stock of Lowe's in my Robinhood, as well as Lowe's in my M1. I do intend on having another batch of transfers from my Robinhood to my M1, so stay tuned on those. So if we total up all the dividends received for the month of February so far, in Robinhood, I have received a total of $127.50. In my M1, I received a total of $89.87. That's a total of $217.37. Why is that an exciting number? Because I have already exceeded what I received in February of 2022. You'll see right here, $216.56. So we're only about 10 or 11 days into February, and I have already exceeded that number. And that means that these small goals, big victories are truly coming to fruition. So let's go ahead and take a look as to what I can expect in the form of dividends. I'm on Track Your Dividends, looking at the upcoming dividends section. And although I don't like to look at this too often, I couldn't help but notice next week, beginning on the 14th, there is going to be a significant amount of dividends coming my way. $130 on Tuesday the 14th. $236 on Wednesday the 15th. $46 on Thursday the 16th, and $10 on the 17th. So there are some great dividends coming my way, even in the month of February, which traditionally we see larger dividends coming in the month of March. So before we start talking about options for the week, I wanted to highlight something that I've been talking about from the very beginning of my journey, and that is setting small goals to achieve big victories. So with every portfolio update moving forward, I'm going to feature at least one small goal, one big victory. And for today's small goal, big victory, you guys may recall from a video last week and the week before, I talked about a smaller goal of having every stock in my M1 portfolio generating at least $1 on an annual basis. And I was almost there with Visa and a few others. Well, take a look today. I finally have crossed that $1 in annual dividend income for every single stock in my M1 portfolio. So Visa now pays me $2.19 on an annual basis. That, ladies and gentlemen, is my small goal, big victory. What's next now is I want every stock in my M1 portfolio to pay me $4 on an annual basis. That would mean every quarter I receive a dividend from any of these companies, at the minimum, it would be $1. So there you have it. That is my small goal, big victory. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is a small goal and a big victory that you have recently achieved? Throw it down there in the comments. I'd love to see what you are planning for in the future. So let's go ahead and finish out the video talking about my options. As you know, I sell covered calls as well as cash secured puts. And the struggle that I have been dealing with in January is a lot of my stocks in which I was selling covered calls, the stock price went above the strike price. That means I run the risk of those shares being called away. So I have continuously had to roll out these positions, and I am not making that steady cash flow on a weekly basis. More so because I'm having to roll out these positions to the middle of 2023. And you'll even see here, Tesla, I recently had to roll a position from this month all the way to January of 2024. Just this roll right here cost me nearly $800. You'll see here I had to close it out for $6,900, and then I had to open up a new position for just $6,000. So just in that one Tesla transaction, I took a loss of nearly $800. Now the good news is Tesla is not the only stock that I am selling covered calls. So what I hope will happen is I will be able to generate positive net income from the premiums that will hopefully make it a wash with any losses that I'm taking, in particular on Tesla. Now, as far as my cash secured puts, this involves you selling the right or the obligation to buy 100 shares. I've been doing rather well, and I've only had to roll just a few times in 2023. For the most part, I have been able to generate steady weekly cash flow by selling cash secured puts. And you can see here my total for cash secured puts for 2023, $1,900 and $22. My total for selling covered calls in 2023 is $3,713. If we go ahead and fill this information, you may recall from last week's video, this number in January was not that much in the red. So technically when you roll a position, you are simultaneously buying to close. And in this case, I bought to close those calls in January at a loss. Luckily, I was able to, for the most part, open newer positions at a net positive gross premium. So right now, as it stands in 2023, I have made $5,635. That's between selling covered calls as well as cash secured puts. Now for the cash secured puts, I've only sold a total of 8 contracts. Much different than covered calls, I have sold a total of 127 contracts. So you'll have to stay tuned to see if I can beat my yearly total of $52,297 from 2022. As always, thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe and of course hit that like button. We'll see you on the next one.